Hi, boys and girls. Happy Friday. So for today's reading, we are going to be doing Stone Stew. So I'm going to read this story and kind of go over the questions for you so that way you can answer them. And obviously, as you saw on Wednesday, the stories seem to be very similar to one another. So you'll have Stone Stew, and then you'll have, I believe, Stone Soup is the second story. So this is Stone Stew, a folk tale from the United States. A long time ago, a man traveled from town to town. He knew people liked to keep to themselves. He knew they did not freely give. One day, he was hungry, and he knocked on the first door in the next village. "Do you have any food to share?" he asked. "No food to share and nothing to spare," said the woman at the door. He knocked on several more doors. He heard nothing to spare. He heard no food to share. The traveler called out to the village, "I can see this is a poor village. You have nothing to share, so I will cook for you. Does someone have a spare cooking pot?" A burly man brought a big pot and said, "I have a spare pot." "Just a spare to share," said the traveler. The traveler placed the pot over the fire. He put water into the pot. The villagers watched him closely. He carefully picked up a small, smooth stone. He tossed the stone into the pot and announced, "Tonight, we all share some stone soup." The traveler leaned over the pot. He thought aloud. A little salt or pepper would be better. A girl brought salt and pepper. "Just a spare to share," she said brightly. Then the traveler said, "Some carrots would make this soup something special." An older man brought a carrot for the soup. "Just a spare to share," he said with a smile. The traveler stirred the pot. Then he said, "I could use just a few more items." The villagers each added their spare turnips, celery, beans, and corn. They cried, "Just a spare to share." It smelled delicious. They set up tables in the town square. All the villagers ate until they were full. Some played music and others danced. It was a night long remembered. So, our key question, why do different cultures tell similar stories? We're going to be answering down here. So as I think about it, why do different cultures tell similar stories? Well, I think about how not everybody stays in one country for the rest of their life, or different cultures. So somebody that might have had family that lived in Europe or in Africa or in Asia, they might have had family members that moved. However, stories are still told to those people. So a story can be passed down. So I've heard stories from my grandparents, and they heard stories from their grandparents. So stories, even though people might move around the world, they can still tell stories. So stories are the same or have similar meanings based on where you are. The characters in this story, I know that we didn't hear anyone's names. So when I think about who the characters were in this story, I might just write the traveler and the burly man and the woman and the girl and the old man. Even though we don't know their names, we can still give them a name that they were given in this story. And the theme, what was the theme? So what was the overall message that the story was trying to tell us? And in my mind, the theme of this story is, even though the villagers didn't have much, they were able to come together and they could do a lot. So even with just a little, they can do together. We can do a lot would be my idea of a theme. So what happened in the story? Well, I think that you guys can kind of figure out what happened. The people in this village they didn't have very much, but they gave just a little bit here and there, and together they were able to put together a meal, a feast. So how did the story end? It seems like everybody got to eat until they were full. So what you're going to want to do is answer these questions. Make sure that you agree with what Mrs. Mansfield is telling you would be a good answer. And then go ahead and read the second story, Stone Soup, and answer those questions as well. All right, guys, good luck.